Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to another video of HTML and CSS for beginners. In this video, I want to talk about CSS. In my previous video, I have explained the basics of HTML, and in this one, I want to cover the basics of CSS. So we are going to talk about different types of CSS, and we are going to talk about CSS in general. So before we start, make sure to subscribe to my channel and also click the bell icon so that you are notified when I publish my next video. And also follow me on my other social media platforms. The link for that is going to be in the description of the video. So without further ado, let's start with today's lesson. The first thing that I want to explain is going to be what is CSS. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and that really means that CSS is used in order to style your HTML document, so in order to style your web page. And for that, we are going to use it. And I really wanted to make this course both HTML and CSS because these two are used really together. So not separately, but you use HTML in order to define the structure of your web page. So all the elements that are going to appear in your web page. And then CSS is really going to be styling those elements. So here I have this basic HTML structure. I hope that you are familiar with this. If you are not, you can watch my previous video. There I have explained this basic HTML structure, so I'm going to start from there. And we are going to add a couple of elements. The first one that I want to add is going to be title. So let's say title, okay. And here I'm going to use, let's say, my first page, like this. So I'm going to say that this is my first web page and I have saved it. And now if I click reload here, as you can see, my first page has appeared as this tab title. So that has done this title tag. Now I want to add a heading. So for that we are using this h1 tag. And I'm going to say this is heading, like this. And also I have saved it, so Control S in order to save all the changes when you get this black dot symbol. So Control S and the changes are saved, and then you can refresh it in your browser and your tag is going to appear. So this is heading has appeared in my web browser. Okay, so let's add one more element, and that is going to be a paragraph. And inside it I want to add let's say I want to write this is paragraph, okay, and then let's add a couple more sentences. So I'm going to say this is second line and add a break line as well, and then let's add a third line so that it really looks like a real paragraph. So this is second line and then this is third line, okay, and I'm going to add the end of sentence here. So now if I refresh it, you can see that our paragraph has appeared here as well. So now what I want to do is I want to style these elements here. And the first type of CSS that I'm going to show you is going to be inline CSS, because there are multiple ways that you can write your CSS. The first one is going to be inline. After that, I'm going to show you internal CSS, and then I'm going to show you external CSS, which is used most often. So inline CSS is going to be really to write your style in the tag. So in this element itself, on its start tag, you put style attribute, and then in these quotation marks, you can put really the property that you want to style and then its value. And as you can see here, we are offered with multiple properties that we can style for this h1 tag. And the one that I want to use is going to be, for example, color, like this. And then after I've specified the property name itself, I'm going to really write the color that I want this text to be of. So I'm going to use, for example, hot pink color, okay. And now if I save this and then refresh my web browser page here, you can see that this heading has become of this hot pink color. Okay, so that is one thing that I wanted to show you. And then let's style this paragraph text as well. So this paragraph element I want to style differently. So I want to say, for example, that for my paragraph tag, I want to style background color. So this property here. And for that, let's use green, let's say this green yellow color. And here you can really specify the name of your color, or you can put this RGB value, meaning red, green, and blue. And you can as well put here hexadecimal code of your color. And for now, we are going to use only this green yellow name of a color. So if I save that and then refresh my page, you can see that this here has become of this greenish color that we have specified here. Okay, so that would be really styling these elements inline. So this is called inline CSS because we specify that CSS in this element itself, so in this start tag of an element. And now I want to show you another way of writing CSS, and that is going to be really writing internal CSS. So what is internal CSS? That means that you can put your CSS, so your style, in this head section in this style tag. So I'm going to write style, and then here, so between this start tag and end tag, I'm going to put the name of my element, and that is going to be, for example, this p tag. So I want to style my paragraph, and then in these curly brackets we are going to specify the style for this p tag, and this style is going to be applied on all paragraph tags that we have in this HTML document. So here I'm going to say, for example, that I want to style the font size of this p element, and I'm going to say that that font size should be, for example, 20 pixels. Okay, and after I have saved it, I can refresh it, and as you can see, this paragraph now has this size of 20 pixels. And this here is going to be applied on all paragraph tags in my HTML document, so in this body section. And just to prove that, I'm going to add another paragraph, and I'm going to say p, and let's say this is second paragraph, like this. Okay, also I have saved it, and now if I refresh it, you can see that my second paragraph has appeared, and it has the same font size as this one here, but it does not have this green yellow background color because we have specified this inline CSS only on this first paragraph, and that's why only this first paragraph has this greenish background, but this one does not have any background at all. So for that, I'm going to move this background color from this inline CSS into this internal CSS. So I'm going to copy that, Control C, and then paste it here. And now if I save it and reload my page once more, you can see that this paragraph 2 has gotten this green yellow background color. And that means that now we can really remove this inline CSS from our first paragraph, and this should behave the same when I save it and reload it. It has stayed the same. Okay, and let's move this h1 element into this internal CSS as well. So here I'm going to say h1 and then put these curly brackets, which means in these curly brackets I'm going to specify the style for all h1 elements on my web page. So let's say, for example, that I want to style background color as well, and for this background color I'm going to choose, well, this lavender blush color, let's say, for example, because that's apparently a color. So if I save it and then reload it here, you can see that our heading has gotten this pink, not pink, but this lavender blush background color. I'm sorry guys, I should probably use normal colors. Okay, so we have styled it with this lavender blush color, and let's also add it another property. So let's say that we want to style the color itself. So for this color I'm going to use, for example, red. Okay, and now if I save this document and try to reload it here, what do you expect that is going to happen? Write it in the comments down below. So if I reload it, you can see that nothing has changed. And why has that happened? Why nothing has changed? Because as you can see here, we have specified red color, but here we have still this hot pink color as the color for this heading, and this inline CSS really has priority over this internal CSS, because anytime that you specify inline CSS for your element, that is going to be really of a higher priority than your internal CSS. So the priorities of these types of CSS go in a following way. So the biggest priority has this inline CSS. After that, the priority has this internal CSS, so whatever you put in these style tags. And then the least priority has external CSS, but that is the one that is used the most. So if I delete this inline CSS now, I'm going to save my document, and then I'm going to reload my page, and then as you can see, our heading has become of this red color that we have specified here. So now we have really removed all the styling from this inline CSS to this internal CSS. And this internal CSS is one way to style your page as well, but neither the inline CSS nor the internal CSS are used that often, and the one that is used the most is going to be external CSS. But why? What is the reason? Well, if you remember when we had that style for our paragraph tag here, so inline style for this paragraph, if you can remember that was not really applied on any other paragraph tag but this one here. Okay, so we have changed that when we moved that paragraph style to our internal CSS. So with this code here, we have said, please style all my paragraph tags in this page. But when you build a website, you usually have your website consisting of more than one page, and you usually want to apply the same styling for all of those pages. And that is why external CSS is used, meaning that you create a different file for your style, and then you apply that file on all the HTML pages, so on all the web pages that your site consists of. And now I'm going to show you how you can create external CSS. So I'm going to say File and then New File, and here I have been presented with this untitled empty document, so I'm going to save it, Control S, and I'm going to save it on my desktop, so the same location where my my first web page HTML document is. That is very important. So I'm going to name it Style, and the extension that you use for CSS files is going to be .css. Okay, so when I save it, you can see that now it really looks different than it did before. So it has this .css extension, and then here you can really move all of this internal CSS. So I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it here, and now I can delete this style tag from my head section. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to save my document. And now if I try to refresh this page, you can see that all of my styling has disappeared. And why has that happened? Well, as we deleted that styles tag from this head tag, so from this page, we have really deleted all the styles. We have moved them to a different file, which is this one here, and I'm going to save that file. And in order to have those styles, so these styles here, applied to your HTML page, you really have to link this file to this HTML page. So you have to say, please use styles from a separate file, which is going to be this one here. And in order to do that, we use link tag, which is this one here, and we have to specify two attributes to our link tag. The first one is going to be this relationship attribute, so you say rel, and then if you hover over it, it says this attribute names a relationship of the linked document to the current document. Okay, so this attribute here is going to specify the relationship of this styles CSS file to my HTML page, and that relationship is style sheet, like this. Okay, so this styles.css is a style sheet for this web page, And then the second attribute that you have to specify is going to be the location. So where is this styles.css file? And that is going to be really using href attribute like this. And since this file here and this file here both have the same location, so both of these files are on C users Saldina desktop and this one as well, so C users Saldina desktop, you can really specify just the name of this styles file. So you can say style.css. Okay, and now if I save these changes and refresh my web page, as you can see, all these styles appeared again. So now we have again these styles that we have specified externally, so in the external file, and we have linked that file using this link tag, and now we have really styled our web page using external CSS. And now if you had multiple pages, you can really just link this file, this styles.css file, to multiple pages, and all of them are going to have a similar theme, similar style. One more thing that I want to show you is what is going to happen if I move, for example, this style.css file. So here we have specified only the name of our style file, and that is because both of these files, so both this HTML document and this CSS document, are on the same location. So that is this one here, so disk C users Saldina desktop, and then this one here is as well on disk C users Saldina and then desktop. And because of that, we could only specify the name of our styles file, which is style.css. But what is going to happen if I, for example, move this file? So what is going to happen if I create a new folder, which I'm going to call, let's say, styles. Okay, and then I take this style.css file, which is this one here, so this one that we have written here and linked here, I take it and move it in my styles folder. So let's try to open this page again. So I'm going to just reload it, and as you can see, we have lost our styles again. And why has that happened? Well, because this style.css is not available anymore on this location, and this is the location where your HTML page is going to try to look for this file. But since the location, destination folder of this style.css file has changed, we have to really specify a new path to this file. And let's check that path. So I'm going to open this folder which I have created, and then I'm going to right click on my style.css and then click properties, and here I have the location to my style file, and that is going to be C users Saldina desktop, and then this styles folder as well. Okay, and then as you can see here, it is going to look for this style.css on C user Saldina desktop, which means that we are missing this part of path here, so this styles folder. So in order to fix the problem that we have to really specify that part of a path here. So I'm going to write styles and then put this slash. So please try to look for this styles CSS on this path, and then add this styles folder as well, and then this is the name of the file that you are going to include. So after I have saved it, if I try to reload my page again, you can see that my styles have reappeared. Okay, so I hope that you understood what is CSS and that you understood different types of CSS. So we have talked about inline CSS, internal and external CSS, and the external CSS is this one here, and that is the one that is used most often, even though it is not wrong to use inline or internal CSS, and we probably will sometime use the inline CSS, sometimes use the internal and external CSS as well. So it really depends on what you need. So it depends on your needs, whether you want to style a single tag. In that case, you can use inline CSS. If you want to style all the page, so a single page, you can use internal CSS. And then if you have multiple pages that you want to style, you can use this external CSS. And that is often the case in real life. So you often have a website that consists of multiple pages. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like it and also subscribe to my channel. Click the bell icon so that you are notified when I publish next video from this course. And also follow me on my other social media platforms. The link to those is going to be in the description of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye.